the feedback from the community is very, very important in designing enhance. Usually, believe it or not, I'm almost all the time on Headfest reading what this guy said about my hands and this and that other guy said about my hands. And that helps me a lot because I can picture of what's going to be the next need in my hands that people are looking for. Came with the SR-71 and it really became a very wanted amplifier. A lot of people enjoyed it. But then the need suddenly started rising, like, even though the SR-71 will give you about 75 hours of 2 AAA batteries at Duracell, alkaline, at about 120 hours of the disposable lithium. But still there were a lot of students who wanted to adopt SR-71 as their daily basis amp, both at home and at school. And these students, some of them, they would listen 8 days a week. And I don't know how they do that, but that's and
it does seem physically suspect.
Yeah, 75 hours was not enough to them. And the needs, I started reading that these students, they love the sound of SR-71, but they need something rechargeable. Now, when I designed SR-71, it was supposed to be for actually when you take a trip and you take it with you. It wasn't designed to be at home, and these people are adopting it for home. And then that's where the need was arising for what do you do next? And believe it or not, at the time when SR-71 came out, the in-ear monitors were not that important and they were not that popular, and they didn't get to the point where truly people can get high-end headphones with them on the plane and they can seal the noise out.
Okay,
and
so here's a question for the whole panel, which is sort of a corollary to that. Is that a double-edged sword? If you start designing based on other people's tastes rather than your instincts as a designer, does that threaten to dilute what it was that you intentionally set out to do?
Truly, that's, I'm saying you have as a designer, or whatever is building amps, he has to know what's the need, what is out there that can make his amps to meet the requirements of these people they're asking for. A lot of them ask for internally they're rechargeable with switches that can deal with the low impedance, high impedance, and the mid impedance type headphones. And that's where the Hornet came in and it solved that problem truly. And now, as I said, the more we find these manufacturers making these beautiful in-ear monitors with the new amp as a Tomahawk from 2 AAA batteries giving you 48 days and 8 hours per day of listening. Tomahawk is a great way with a sound that really meets this requirement also due to the needs of these people as much possible you can get out of those 2 AAA batteries.
Okay, anybody else?
I think a part of it, you know, you're asking for feedback from the community. Feedback tends to be in mind. You have, to a great degree, a lot of people, what's that? You have to a great degree, almost religions that set up in these different teams. And, you know, it's a question of how do you find truth within this minefield, and what are people really trying to say? And at some point you just throw up your arms and say, okay, well, I'll just pursue my passion based upon my interpretation of it. So reading through is really very dangerous if you're just following it. Your passion has to be what's at the core. You're simply guided by people who listen to your own. And, you know, of course, there are other products that may come around and you get feedback from others, but you just follow your passion, and at a certain point, you have enough feedback that will come from the people who listen to your products to be able to congeal that makes sense.
Tyler, you've shot a couple of disbelieving glances over here based on that question. Do you have any feelings?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, okay, Justin, please.
Usually one of the first things I'll do when I have an idea for a new product is I'll just talk to a few other head fighters, mostly just people I've met at meets before, and just see what they think of the idea, ask them if they have any input on it. And usually I find that with like similar things, they might have a couple ideas I didn't think of, or tell me that something was really stupid. And then I just go from there. And usually the finished result is somewhere in the middle.
Rudy?
Oh, yeah, Rudy, go ahead.
Well, I was marketing manager for a big company for many years, and my job was to make market survey, to decide the product, the price, the position of product. Now I have my own company, and I don't care about this. I do what I want and what I believe is right. Sometimes it is matched in the market, sometimes not. About the feedback, of course, feedback is all because but it is important, but must be filtered in a kind of with a kind of anthropological filter. For example, our best seller, the LP 5.1C now, the different version, we have sold in almost 400 pieces. That is quite a big number. Well, we receive feedback from extremely warm to extremely cold.
So if it's spread over a consistent field, then
Yes.
pulls up.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, people like the amp because they buy and they appreciate it. But and of course, all those 400 people, and probably more than 400, many people, other people have listened at different heads, and this is why. So it is important the feedback because it helps you to make to work better, but it can't drive you continuously. Otherwise, you go like this. So you must have your idea and hope that it's successful.
Pete seems perfectly poised between the DIY world where you only have to please yourself, and obviously you're capable of producing very saleable products. Where do you fall within that spectrum?
Well, I have the either good or bad fortune to not make my living, so I have a little more flexibility. I don't have the commercial pressures that these guys have to make a living out of. So, really, I mean, the internet's changed the way things work for sure, but in terms of feedback for things I design, I don't pay that much attention to it. Because I think, like all these guys said, it's all over the map. There's no consistent message, and there's enough crackpots as well to mess things up. So, you know, in terms of design, no. But what I think is really cool to me is that this whole community has drug in young people, and you can thank Apple and the iPod or whatever. But to me, being a relatively old guy compared to most of the people who are here, well, maybe, you know.
I'm older.
Yeah. So I grew up playing with tubes at the end of their life when I was a kid, you know. And to me, you can see that the whole hobby's been dying off, and people want instant gratification. They don't want to build stuff. And suddenly, that's all changed, mostly in this community. We still see like tube audio DIYs seem to be declining, and even speaker building, all the other things that were like really popular in the 60s and 70s, they're all kind of dropping off. But suddenly this whole headphone, MP3 player, iPod thing has showed up, and I think that's probably the coolest thing about it all to me.
Well, you're so lucky that you grew up playing with tubes. I grew up playing the tuba. And now what have I got to show for it?